Hey yo, what's up everybody, it's your boy Dice, aka Dicem if y'all haven't figured it out by now. I most certainly am a huge fan of the Alien franchise, the Alien and Predator and AVP franchise to be fair, but I am a big Xenomorph fan, so today's topic of the video will of course include the Xenomorphs from the Alien franchise. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's break it down for those who didn't know and for those who are just interested to watch. Follow me. The engineers were a powerful and very advanced civilization with bioengineering. They had biomechanical technology and they worshipped a creature depicted in the mural in Prometheus, a xenomorph-like creature, something that resembled the Deacon or Decon alien, as you'll see in a moment. The thing is, these engineers, similar to the Anunnaki, had actually created life throughout the universe, seeding life from planet to planet, and they were the ones to engineer the black goo pathogen, which is said to be life in its most primal state, life in its darkest form, basically unadulterated predatory life, a single-celled organism that can mutate any living creature. It reacts unpredictably with organic matter, and it can create beings of its own through the blueprints within it itself. It is the blueprint, the basic foundation of the xenomorph DNA, and we see creatures like this Decon alien variant born from whenever the trilobite impregnates the engineer himself in Prometheus. This creature has a set of retractable/extractable inner jaws like a xenomorph, although they're more similar to the jaws of an eel, and it has appendages similar to a xenomorph, but we never even got to see this creature fully grown. It lacked a prehensile tail, but it did have xenomorph-like traits, and it was definitely a related creature, a variant, an exotic xenomorph variant similar to the neomorph, which was created from spores left behind when David dropped the black goo on a colony of engineer humanoids. These humanoids were living on this colony peacefully, waiting for the return of the engineers, their gods, whenever David dropped his black goo pathogen that he had found from the engineers onto them, and he saw how it reacted with them, and this version of the weaponized goo completely wiped out their colony, but it left behind these spores that created moats, a swarm of small microorganisms guided by some sort of central intelligence that actually impregnates the humans with a neomorph specimen that becomes a bloodburster that bursts from the body violently out of the throat, mouth, chest, or back. And at this point, the neomorph is born. These creatures are fascinating. Similar to the Deacon alien, it has a set of retractable/extractable inner jaws that can chomp a human's head right off. Unlike drone xenomorphs like the Big Chap and standard drone and warrior xenomorphs, as well as the Runner and even the Pred alien, the thing is, this xenomorph has bone white teeth similar to the newborn alien Sapien from Alien Resurrection. Also similar to the alien offspring from the new Alien Romulus film, spoiler alert. But the thing is, the neomorph closely resembles concept art of the belugamorph from Prometheus. Now, the neomorph is an animalistic creature. It is very dangerous. It's less stealthy and calculated and cold than your standard xenomorph. It's more so just a straight up animal, going off of instinct and killing whatever it sees as a threat or prey. They're more fleshy and organic than the biomechanical xenomorphs that we usually see, and they do have a prehensile tail, unlike the Deacon that we saw at the end of Prometheus. Now, the Big Chap xenomorph is like the Praetomorph or Protomorph that we saw in Alien Covenant, one that was basically your standard Xeno, only it was more animalistic. Its life cycle was definitely faster with how it gestated and was born quicker than a Xenomorph usually is, and how it actually grew to be the size that it would become in a quicker time span, in a much quicker time frame. And the thing is, these creatures pretty much are Xenomorphs in every way, and they're just like xenomorphs in their behavior and their appearance and biology in a lot of ways as well. They resemble the xenomorphs from Alien, the original film, and somewhat the aliens from Alien Resurrection, if you look at the hands and things like that. Now, this was the xenomorph that was perfected as they say, by David, the android, who is trying to create the perfect organism, a creature that would actually supersede himself as the perfect organism, a predatory, monstrous being, this lethal and powerful, perfect organism, this entity created from the black goo itself. These beings are intelligent and they're fast. They can run on all fours, moving quickly, almost similar to the dog alien runner from Alien 3, but completely and entirely different, more closely resembling the Scorched Xenomorph and of course Big Chap Xenomorph, even the drones from AVP. Now, the thing is, the Praetomorph, Protomorph, and in fact, the Scorched Xenomorph from Alien Romulus are said to be alpha drones like the Grid Alien from AVP. A Xenomorph that is a standard drone Xenomorph, but one that has a higher level of intellect and is usually a group leader, one that is like the alpha male in a way, or just alpha in general, not exactly male. But the thing is, these creatures are very intelligent, very smart, and some even say that they're young queens, that they will go into a cocoon and hatch as a queen. Of course, the Protomorph has the long, spiny, elongated prehensile tail with the barbed spear-like tip at the end of the tail, used for piercing and penetrating straight through prey. It has the extractable/retractable inner jaw mechanism as well, as made famous by the classic scene seen here in the original Alien film, where the metallic teeth are shown when the lips pull back and the inner jaw is seen in action functioning, killing the man with one fatal blow, one strike known as the head bite. This was the Big Chap Xenomorph, the original Xenomorph that started it all in the first film. But as you know, you have to go and watch the sequels, which are actually prequels, to see how the Deacon would have actually been the first in the line of modern Xenomorphs that we know. Then you got the classic Big Chap Xenomorph, the Xenomorph drone that has the acidic blood, the prehensile tail with the barbed spear tip at the end of the length of the spiny tail, the clawed hands and feet, as well as the creature's high level of intellect, and the fact that the creature itself actually has an inner jaw mechanism, etc. Then we of course have the newest variant, the Scorched Xenomorph. It was made from the DNA harvested from the alien from the first film, the Big Chap Xenomorph, the DNA that was extracted from it. And so these creatures very closely resemble the classic Big Chap Xenomorph in many ways, with a few key differences. The Alien Romulus film actually shows the cocoon stage of a Xenomorph when it goes from a chest burster into its full adult form, where it's fully formed. And that is something that was previously unseen, previously done off screen by the Xenomorphs. But regardless, we get to see some dope Xenomorph action in Alien Romulus. We even get to see the signature head bite. The Scorched Xenomorph is born from face huggers that come out of ovomorph eggs that then attach to a human's face, where it then impregnates them and they end up giving birth to the chest burster that grows into a cocoon and into its full form, emerging as a fully formed Xenomorph adult. These creatures are born in a way similar to the other Xenomorph variants, and they behave somewhat similarly, but you can see that there are key differences in the appearance and behavior of the different Xenomorph variants. It's actually believed that the engineers may have worshipped the Xenomorphs, or at least a creature similar to the Deacon, or something like it, maybe an Ultramorph or Space Jockey Xenomorph, and it may have actually been the creature to help them recreate themselves and procreate or create another organism, since we never see any female engineers. They definitely very well could have been their method of reproduction, but the thing is, they were weaponized at one point, and the black goo was used to create hostile xenomorphs, BOWs, biological weapons. And of course, one of my personal favorite takes on the xenomorph, or variants of the xenomorph being, is of course the warrior xenomorph from James Cameron's Aliens, the sequel to Ridley Scott's Alien. These are very hyper-aggressive, hostile, and dangerous, lethal creatures. Now, then you have the alien from Alien 3, the runner or ox dog alien that was actually born from an ox or a dog and could run extremely fast, walking primarily as a quadruped, and the Alien Resurrection clone Xenomorph, which was of course similar to the big chap alien, but more similar to the drone we would later see in AVP. The hands were more similar to the hands and arms of the warrior Xenomorph. The head was slick and sleek, jet black, sort of like the drones later seen in AVP, and similar to the big chap in some ways. They had the inner jaw like a standard Xenomorph, the tail like a standard Xenomorph. Now the AVP Xenomorphs were drones that were shown to be able to kill even Yautja, aka predators. These are standard Xenos that are Xenomorphs at their best, in my opinion. Some of the best Xenomorph drones depicted, some of the best Xenomorph variants depicted on screen. And yeah, there were a few Xenomorph variants that were more so exotic Xenomorphs, but these are all the standard Xenomorph iterations, all the Xenomorph drone-like aliens. We even see that a Xenomorph tail can pierce through Yautja armor, and the Xenomorph head bite can pierce through their helmet and skull. The AVP-R Alien vs. Predator Requiem Xenomorphs were considered drones or warriors. It's kind of confusing which they're considered actually when you look into the lore, because they more so resemble the warriors from Aliens, but are considered to be more like drones from AVP. Regardless, they're also interesting Xenomorph variants, just a standard Xenomorph type. And of course, everybody knows about the Queen and the fact that usually the Queen can grow between 15 and 20 feet as the Supreme Xenomorph, next to beings like the Elite and King Xeno. So in the end, as it stands, Xeno variants were initially created by the engineers and then toyed with and perfected, air quotes, by David the android. The continuity of the lore continues into Alien Romulus, surprisingly. Anyways, on a more serious note, Dicem, aka Joe, myself, I apologize for my absence. It was definitely out of my control, and I wanted to sincerely apologize to my fans and audience, and just let y'all know I've been going through a lot. But I worked hard to get this video out for y'all, so I hope you appreciate and enjoy it. Outtie.